Hello everybody. I'm eating gooey berries. These are good. They're not as good as the blueberry tarts though that I'm going to assist Rachel in making today. So I'll be joining her in just a few minutes. Okay, Rachel's up blueberry tarts. And it's on you. You tell me what to do.
So like Tracy, I have everything set up to start the blueberry tart. Well, everything for the dough at least. We're going to be using the same machine that we used for the sausage bread. I have a cookie sheet out with parchment paper so that the tarts don't stick. And then I also have all the measuring cups set out with everything that we need. So unlike the sausage bread, we are going to put all of the flour in at once into the machine. And it takes 1.5 cups.
Uno. And either un or no. Well, what's half? What's half of uno? Uno and un. Okay.
Half teaspoon of salt.
Wonderful, half a teaspoon. Add too much salt, your heart will explode. Not instantly, of course. It'll take a little while. Of course, my sauce helped that little pressure point. Sorry.
2 tablespoons of sugar.
Rattling on here.
Okay, and then we're gonna do 12 wonderful tablespoons of butter.
Remember, blueberries are antioxidants. Maybe that. Sorry, just me. Do we need to soften that first, like in the microwave, or do we just kind of?
So you want it to be as hard and cold as possible, but still melted. So I did soften it and then threw it in the freezer for a couple seconds to. So it's still soft, but it is cold. Okay, so we have the flour mixture mixed, and then we're just gonna dump chunks of the butter.
Now, could you dump that in while it's running? Because we can throw it through the hole, can't we?
We could.
Shall we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
What you're doing with the butter right now is you want the butter to become into like pea-sized pieces.
Ah, so the old hand cutter that Mom used to use. That's what you're doing.
Yes. And then after the butter is when we'll add the very cold water.
Very cold. How cold is very cold? Like that with a refrigerator cold?
That's what I've been using.
Okay. So at that point, I need to run so we get good cold water. How much cold water do we need?
I need 1/4 cup. And I have it out right here for you. So now Tracy's going to add in a 1/4 cup of cold water. We want the water to be as cold as possible. So he's added some ice cubes to the water before pouring it into the cup.
I did spill it.
So now that the dough has been kneaded in the machine, we are going to take it out and put it on the counter and knead it with our hands for a few minutes.
Now, my mom, she used to use shortening, Crisco shortening to make pie crust. Is that what you're kind of making as a pie crust?
Yes. It's very similar to a pie crust.
Okay.
When I make pie crust, I actually use Crisco.
Ah, so this is not a pie crust. I know it's good. That's all I know is it rocks. I'll be laying in there in the living room this evening in a catatonic stupor, which doesn't really bother me that much.
Okay, so after kneading it for a few minutes, I just put it into like, I guess a ball shape, just like we did with the sausage bread. I try to make sure that there's not too many hard seams in it. And then after I do that, I put it on parchment paper. The parchment paper usually that I line the cookie sheet with. And I just put it in the refrigerator while prepping the blueberries. So now, Tracy, you're gonna crack the egg, beat it. The egg is to make the dough nice, shiny, and have like that golden brown color. And then while you're doing that, I'm gonna prep the blueberries. So for the blueberries, we have fresh blueberries, I did put them in the freezer right beforehand. I prefer them in the freezer because they don't get as mushy. I don't keep them in the freezer for long, just for maybe about 20-30 minutes prior. All I do for the blueberries is I put what I think is gonna look good inside the actual tart. So I have blueberries here. I'm going to sprinkle some toppings on them. I am using cinnamon.
And these are fresh picked the blueberries.
Yes.
Her and my son went out to the Blueberry Fields Forever, or something like that, Strawberry Fields Forever. I don't know, there's a song. They went there and did that one Saturday. I was in the bed.
Yes, we left very early in the morning. Some sugar.
For those of you that can't see, that sum was about a tablespoon, I'm guessing. This is the Blind Guy Cooking Show, so we really can't see what she's doing.
And a dash of vanilla.
So, you know, the sighted people that are doing this, when you're helping a blind person or teaching them how to cook, you kind of got to go into a little bit more in depth because we can't see. But that's okay because this is good teaching and training for us. I'm learning how to make a blueberry tart, and she's learning how to teach a blind guy how to cook. And just so you all know, down here in the South, if anybody's wondering, I get the flour in this plastic container. I keep this in the fridge just so I can use it for sprinkling things like this and gravies and things like that. The rest of it you may have noticed was in a Ziploc bag. That's because I put it in the freezer, because down here in the wonderful South, where we don't have blizzards or any other white crap in the winter, we do have bugs.
So basically I'm just gonna take this, make small chunks of the dough, and then roll that specific chunk out.
You did all this work last time when I was in there sleeping?
Yes.
Oh wow, you are all right.
So then after it's about, I'd say maybe a 1/4 inch, I will take my cookie sheet and my parchment paper, lay the parchment paper down on the cookie sheet.
Is there a face side to parchment paper? Does it matter?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
After I have this, you really don't have to have any pretty fashion to it. It's all gonna taste the same. I take the blueberries, take a spoon, put it down in the center.
Now, if you had apples in this, if this was a blueberry and apple tart, what would you just slice up apples just real
Just
small or
slice up
something?
apples, do the exact same thing. When there is apples, I do put lemon in it so that the apples don't turn brown.
Could you put raisins in there?
Sure. And then after I put the blueberries in the center, I just pinch the sides so you have something that looks like a dumpling. Okay, so I'm going to then put an egg wash on the top half of all of the tarts. This gives it that golden brown color that you see in pies.
Should I turn on the oven? Alexa, tell Geneva to turn on upper oven to 375 degrees.
I've set your upper oven to bake at 375 degrees Fahrenheit.
Thank you both.
So now after
Sorry, I don't know that one.
So now after I put the egg wash on there, I will put it in the oven, and then when it's completed out of the oven, I will then put some kind of jam preservative on there with a sprinkle of sugar. So we have blueberry preserves that I will then, after it's done being cooked, put on the tarts.
Mm-hmm. The blueberry tarts are up here and they have cooked. I'm going to take them out. Safety first. Very hot stuff. If you've gone through blind rehabs, they get you these long mittens. Use them. So if you open the door for me, I'll get the tarts out.
Okay.
Move that on out. And they kind of exploded a little bit, but that's okay. Look at them. They're just absolutely delicious. We can put those right here. You can close that.
Okay.
Rachel and I are inviting Rachel Ray down here. And we're going to have a cook-off. We're going to see who can do what. Me and Rachel. Rachel and I. Rachel Ray, come on down. A blind guy cooking. Blind guy cooking. Yes? No?
I don't want to compete against her.
I don't want to compete against her. I want to come down here and cook. I'm trying to get dinner out of this deal, girl.
Okay. And just sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top.
Now, you know how Kathy gets those little thingies from the commissary? They got the big chunks of sugar on there? The big granulated chunks? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, they're so tasty. Look at that big
Don't know what you're
chunk.
talking about. Sounds good.
Oh, it is. They're
Sounds
terrible.
yummy.
I don't know what kind of sugar it is.
And we're done.
That's it, huh?
Yep.
Now, they'll be later. We can heat them up in the microwave if we want.
If you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I like them cold, but
A little bit of ice cream.
yes.
Well, that just rocks. Blind Guy Cooking Show.